Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Wally Weasel. And here we are with some more Rogue Trader. And yes, we unfortunately couldn't do much of anything yesterday in my streaming. And then Monday was a bit short. But I'm feeling back to normal today. So, yeah. Anyways, today we're going to explore the interior of the ship. Let's just get everything situated. There you go, you're all the way down there, you silly goose. Okay, let's get right back to it. Okay. We get to see how our two newest members do as well. That is, if there's any combat. I don't know. Captain's quarters? No, I don't know about that. Freight line? Yeah, we'll start with the freight line. Get out of here, Albred. Thus far, it is Pascal who is now on the chopping block. Not because he's a guy, but because his abilities I haven't really found much use of outside of his tutorial fight. Outside of that, he's just basically no different than Adira, but Adira has like lightning. So, yeah. Anyways, we'll start off with the freight line. Why not? We might as well. Thousands of people, most of whom are disenfranchised rabble, providing an easily replaceable workforce. Common folks' only mission in life is to toil away in the name of the flagship insatiable demands. Makes sense. That's what I figured about this. I mean, after the tutorial mission. Okay, why is everybody standing here like this? One sec, let me just gotta finish getting everything situated here. Oops, I misspelled freight. How the hell do I misspell freight? Okay, more reading right off the bat. Enoch Frenzo, you don't have a little image. Surly built man with an augmented jaw stands at attention. The dark circles under his eyes speak to many sleepless nights when his voice is loud and spirited. Welcome to Freight Hub LD 987A14, Lord Captain. I am Enoch Frenzo, Captain of the Enforcer in the lower deck of Bay LD A14. The Master-at-Arms has assigned me to be your liaison for the duration of your stay here. Lord Captain, would you like to inspect the control room or to begin your search for the Temple of the Bloodspun Web? Oh, this is part of the DLC? I don't want to do that yet. That's part of his obvious concern. Yeah. How does everybody know I was coming? Master-at-Arms ordered us to be on standby after the Bloodspun Web openly invited you to visit their temple. We have been awaiting your arrival every day since then, Lord Captain. How to reach the temple? No, we're not going to do that yet. Sorry, compartment. I am curious to see how the people on the lower deck. Yeah. Frenzo glances at you warily. As your will, Lord Captain, still out of concern for your own safety, I must warn you that you should avoid the farthest section of the bay. They are ridden with disease, and the locals can be particularly unpleasant to deal with. With the kind of riffraff that dwells there, you might even be attacked. Cassia shivers. Such ghastly places you describe. We are not headed there, are we, Lord Captain? we'll wind up where we wind up. Frowns. To put it bluntly, although the bay performs its functions well, even its more civilized sections are sorely lacking in discipline. I was only assigned recently, so I haven't had time to straighten everything up. Since doing so will require making some serious changes, I am not inventing excuses, Lord Captain. As the officer in charge, I accept full responsibility for what takes place in my compartment. Okay, so it sounds like if we don't straighten up some of these compartments, we could suffer consequences further on down the road. So the community infraction. That kind of seems... Oh, you're in the laundry room of this giant facility. You must have committed crimes. Like, what? My assistants have to conduct an inspection and share my thoughts on how to change this place for the better. No. Not interested. No. I hereby offer my assistance. Inspect the enforcer checkpoint. Visit the Bay's forbidden areas. Okay. But Renzo stops himself and protests and assumes a more compliant tone. In that case, I urge you to remain vigilant. The freight trains move at a great speed, and the inhabitants of the residential units are despicable rabble. I mean, that's his definition of it. They could be very nice, you know? One must never drop one's guard around them, and Emperor preserve you from stumbling into the pestilence pit. That's where the madmen and the lepers live. Tell me about the station. Hub, that thing, connects the lower decks freight, residential, and artillery bays. Our task is to monitor the flow of the labor force and prevent supply disruption between bays. Who maintains? Separate controllers. They're technomats trained by priests of the machine cult to keep the sacred coadjutors working order and prevent train collisions. The consequences of an accident like that would be easy to imagine, especially if one of the trains were carrying micro-cannon ordnance. Make sense? Also employed here are an enforcer squad, a team of inferni, the clerks who keep cargo records, and a Medicaid officer, a fine chap whose medicine's choice is a bullet. May the God Emperor forgive him. Every void ship can boast its own railway. Yeah, that's true. Usually higher class ships are the ones that get trains, but it's far from the greatest thing a rogue trader Warren can see done. The credit here goes to Lady Theodora's predecessor, on whose orders the Adeptus Mechanicus, I just took a stab at that one, assisted in birthing the miracle of sacred engineering from the womb of the Dynasty flagship. Situation on the lower decks. Most of the focus, or locals, unload trains and sort provisions. We give maintenance jobs to the more capable ones. The rest are reserve workforce. Whenever a crew are lost on a deck, we find replacements. Find replacements from among those rats. And if extra hands are needed anywhere else, there are always more than enough volunteers eager to work for rations. They even queue for jobs. Because no problems, I hope. Surely you are joking, Lord Captain. The rabble are base in nature, and mutiny is always on their minds. They steal whatever they can and get their hands on, and lately they've moved from rations to tinned food to weapons. Confiscate those regularly, of course, and keep the serfs meek and terrified. That's the only way we can protect the mindless herd from themselves. Another thing that the bastards do on a regular basis is build their shacks in front of service tunnel entrances. That has delayed the arrival of the furnace brigades during several emergencies and caused air and power supply problems in adjacent bays. Burn those saboteurs along with their shacks, but they just keep pressing on regardless. Weakness rabble? How paranoid are you? Most of my knowledge, being paranoid is practically a requirement in our time of work. In any case, the rabble are always plotting. Take my word for it. No, presence requirement does not. Ask about it. That is correct. The enforcers do not bar them from carrying out their sacred duties. Scowls, as irregular as it is to have armed crew members set a secret hideout forbidden to the enforcer, and that they can go around dispensing bloody justice. You know about these deaf cultists. Not much, but I've I'm always trying to learn more. Given that they like to pay visits to my compartment. Scratches his head, thinking the spinners honor the emperor, though through death. Still a little tired. They kill notorious reprobates and heretics. Sometimes they kill righteous folk, and other times even seemingly at random. Yeah. Their rituals are morbid and their prayers are strange. Anyone not initiated in their rites would struggle to make sense of them. We got one of the members right here, so don't talk too much smack. Not take issues with difficult killing people in your territory. Oh, it's looking at Cabela. Yeah, I do, Lord Captain, but the cult is authorized to exist on the ship, which means their activities down here are not to be interfered with. I see. Protect you, Lord Captain. Okay. Good bow. We just kind of stand there and watch them all leave.
They will see. Oh, yes, they all will see.
Okay, so no one's really going to say anything more. Drop the controller. Enforcer. Scribe. Enforcer. Send friends right there. I don't know. Okay. Oops, come on, go around. Okay, what do they say? Is that blood? We scrubbed the deck 3 times right before Rogue Trader came. Void, take me. The captain will have our heads. Okay. Corner of the captain's mouth, which is nervous like the most. Damn those. How do they even... Here, examine the mark. You've seen this sort of symbol before. Death and cultists carve bleeding marks like this into their own skin. Camilla carves the same symbol on the back of her hand with a knife and whispers a prayer. Dominalanya. Remember this sign. It is beginning of your quest. The first... Oh, shoot, I don't want that. She's dancing. Yes, do you know what this mark is? It resembles one of the symbols associated with the blood-spun web. What was it called again? The Song of Trailing Blood? I think it's a prayer similar familiar to the many in this compartment. We've heard spinners say that when they, perform their signature, acts of service to the Empire. Takes a deep breath. Soundless shadows sank in the dark. Slashed feet, crescendo, a fatal dance. Blade song and temple, each edge and echo, twin odes to death rose. Now on their sacred blood, as she once trod the back of toes. Toes? Foes. I didn't see the curve at the top. Tread countless souls, but none who know. You mentioned the verse. Why? Yeah. When I took up my post here, I made sure to familiarize myself with all the particular qualities of this compartment. I soon heard about the verse and decided to investigate. I questioned a number of people who follow the bloodspun web as I was trying to figure out if there was anything pernicious, right? Yeah. About it. Pernicious. Eventually learned the whole thing. I found the words are certainly strange. There's something worse than that, it seems. This mark here. It has something to do with them inviting you to visit their temple. Maybe they're trying to get your attention? Apologies, Lord Captain. I'm no good at deciphering their disturbing riddles. That song. From what I can tell, it's something like a prayer, with several verses to tell about the life of one of the cult saints, Lorraine, or the matriarch spider, as they call her. In other words, it is an invitation. It is only too obvious that cultists obsessed with mysticism would never use prose to mark the ways for their temple. They are too fond of their obscure chants and cryptic verse. Oh, we're not going in yet.
One step at a time, amidst the madness.
Okay, so that's basically all there is here thus far. Sorry, Cabela, we're not doing that yet. Okay, Voidship Shrine, yeah. Check out the Voidship Shrine. Oops. Professor Aldebert.
A premonition runs true.
This is both the mall known as the Fervent Phantom. Or Fathom. Legend has this nose split contract up the skull of a loathsome demon, Renazar the Flare. Every victim in shards of... Can I steal these weapons?
Curiosity sings in my veins.
Saving commerce.
I did it?
She's looking chain sword without a fuel engine. I see the weapons rack. Okay. Should seek. Broad-shouldered young priest makes the sign of Aquila. The emperor protects your ladyship. How may I be of service? Who are you? Should seek your ladyship. I recite prayers and help Professor Albert with the rites. What's that thing? The initiate looks over at the sarcophagus. The skeleton within is clutching an orb made of many tightly fitted hoops covered in glyphs. A mysterious object, but undeniably a holy one. It was donated by a group of pilgrims who studied the legacy of the great missionary Nadine Alinikov? Yeah. They believed there was something inside that only someone truly righteous was meant to have. One of the pilgrims was so desperate to witness the moment of the orb opening that they bequeathed their body to us. A riddle. Cassie's eyes light up with curiosity. It would be most interesting to learn what is stored inside, Lord Captain. Or Lord Captain, would you try opening up the orb? Open it? One of your predecessors was the last to attempt solving the relic's mystery. Happened a long time ago, before Lady Theodora was born. That's all I know. I'll try to disassemble it. Missing a relic is an unthinkable crime, and to use force bypass the test of wisdom and faith it contains is terribly blasphemous. Ah, screw that. Okay. The initiate opens the lock and hands you the orb. Someone has already moved the hoops around, trying to arrange the letters into meaningful sentences. It will only take a few more rotations for the orb to split cleanly into 4 parts, each with his own question. The answer should presumably be formed using adjoining hoops. Do we get, infinite amount of attempts? Ooh, my light reaches everywhere. The greedy will see me in gold, the scholars in humanity's cradle, but only the righteous will see me within their souls. Well, I will reach everywhere. You will see me in gold, scholars in humanity's cradle. Your souls. Strength? Whether where something clicks inside the orb. It didn't say if I was right or wrong. Form the question in the orb's second quarter. I am within every human, and the loss is feared, for without me comes the end. But give me to the Emperor and you will be eternal. Faith? That comes from inside the orb. That could be fine. I am poison. I am perdition. I am disgrace. Burn me down, eradicate me, or perish, rejected by the Emperor. Your sharp mind quickly scours the recesses of your memory for a fragment of Nadine's sermons. You recall that she mercifully denounced the weakness of those who have faith in the Emperor, but are incapable of translating that faith into deeds. She must have despised the shortcoming of the soul more than any other. I am poison, I am perdition, I am disgrace, burn me down, eradicate me, or perish. Okay, weakness then, I guess. I click the hoop cells into place. If I get this right on my first try, I'm going to be amazed, but I'm probably not going to get it, but we'll see. In your body, mind, and soul, you must possess me. I am no mere absence of states, I bring you closer to him. If I recall the pages of Life of Nadine correctly, this part speaks about purity. The saint saw it as a quintessence. Okay, well, then I'm going to take your word for it. Hoop shifts and return to the previous arrangements. You'll have to start over. Oh, okay.
In this tapestry of a world, I am the rogue thread.
Another compartment.
A tantalizing anomaly.
I thought that was a throne. What just happened? Okay, I pushed the button, and then I guess I pushed another button. Nobody's yelling at me. Okay, you was glowing for a bit, and now...
What lies beyond?
Okay, let me just...
The stars are my canvas, and anarchy is my brush. To the all
Whisper and be heard. My visions show
Okay,
this
yep,
path
yep.
and many others.
So it looks like it has a button too. So is this one. I'm assuming we're supposed to push these in order, but I don't know the timeline.
The dead know nothing.
This galaxy is my playground.
Blood is my life. Death is my duty. I am your ship.
Yes.
Say no more.
Okay, that's 2.
Should I divine?
I'm restless. Blessed be the road that we take.
That's 3. I just want to make sure that there's no other buttons. I think I only see the one more.
Sins hidden in the heart turn all to decay.
No, there's one more.
Executing request.
Oh, I got it.
What is that?
Does something trouble you, Lord Captain?
What is that? Unquenchable theory, 9 to 11. It's one-handed melee. Right on.
They fear.
Let us seize the moment.
Okay, inventory. Yeah, we're not gonna look at that one. Okay, did you give me a sword? I feel you gave me a sword. Serrated mono knife. Yeah. Because you're saying that you like doing dual wield stuff as well. Oh, this may have been the sword. Oh, this is just a normal chain sword. Okay, but you need a gun. Six to 8, 9 to 14. No. Actually, I should give you a pistol. Because you're going to be close range anyway, so it's fine. Let's see here. Armor. Holy investment. Oh, there's something else. Management, journal, cargo management. Oh, okay, whatever.
There will be no peace in my wake.
What, can we just like save in the midst of conversations? No, we can't. One sec. Sorry. After that, I kind of want to do a quick save. What protects your ladyship? What brings you to this boat? Did I miss the initial thing? I think I did. Luckily, as I am recording. Okay. Confessor Albert, a plump, rosy-cheeked old man, is lighting candles, taking his time with each. Glints of fire dance on his heavy golden aquila, and in his sky blue eyes, just as you smiling. The lamp will protect you, your ladyship. You're to pray or have mundane matters brought you to me. Okay. There's an incredibly profound quality in his voice as he speaks mesmerizing timbre. Gotcha. What the hell do you do on my ship? Aside from set fires. I am the ship's confessor, your ladyship. No vessel that abides by the Imperium's laws can sail the void without a spiritual guide. Even a smaller-sized ship that does not have a member of the Ecclesiarchy, the Imperium, also known as the Ecclesiarchy, which venerates and promotes the worship of the Emperor. Okay. On board and trust all matters to faith in a layperson who is staunch adherent to the creed. A rogue trader's flagship naturally is expected to have a confessor who comes from a line of his reverend servants. I am one. Or I such a one. I am entrusted with caring for the reliquary chapel and the dynastic crypt. And a crypt. Also conduct liturgies, consecrate the ship's bays, and strengthen the crew's hearts whenever a dark hour is upon us, lest any among them falter in the face of horrors lurking in the darkness and fail in their duty. Tell me about this crypt. The trader takes care to maintain the appropriate place of repose on board their flagship, for their capital may change with the passing of centuries, but the vessel of the Emperor's anointed service for millennia. It is more than just a symbol of dynasty's authority. It is the source of its power, the Lord Captain's seat in the void whence they reign over for many lands. Unspeed's crypt is where the rogue trader and their most loyal servants are laid to rest. As the ship's confessor, I perform the rites of burial and remembrance for those honored death. Lets out a heavy sigh. It never occurred to this old man that he might have to send Lady Theodora on her final journey, but all is the Emperor's will. Well, it's kind of your job. You should have realized that was going to happen. Smells like talking to Crowley for hours. I hope not, because that would be a lot of reading. This is the only place of worship? Why no, there are multiple sancta on every deck, where you subjects pray fervently and the clergy keeps a close watch on the firmness of their faith. This, on the other hand, gestures around the glittering reliquary, is the holiest of holy places, where the noblest among your servants are permitted to set foot. Ooh, I'm in a common class. The decks to be able to partake in this observance as well. Eyebrows arch upward. Truly a most generous and a gracious gesture, your ladyship. Arrange for commoners who have distinguished themselves in their service to be allowed in here. An event like that will fill them with fervor. Yeah, why am I having so much trouble? And they will pass down the memory of what they have seen to their offspring. Kind class +2. Collection of sacred relics come from. Every relic we have here was either arduously tracked down by your ancestors, captured in battle against the faithless, or received as a gift for glorious deeds. A show of loyalty to the Emperor that speaks for itself, does it not? He makes no effort to conceal his pride. For our part, we keep the precious relics intact and undisturbed as we conduct liturgies and perform rites. Initiate Zeke is especially does care for the relics, though he is of common stock. He earned his position through dedication and piety. Attendance from you. Sure, why not? Jesus. News for solemnity. Begins. Every man and woman has their place in the order he created, and this order must be followed, and the will of one's superiors obeyed. Beware the witches. They have been stained by the war. Persecute mutants, for they are perversions of human form, and hate the accursed Xenos. Possess some degree of psychability. Okay. Of psychers, but the Imperium needs them. You're right. Without this Astropath, we are deaf and blind, and there are many other psychers laboring for the good of humanity. That's their place within the Emperor's design, but only those among them who accept his light have been authorized. Scoffs contemptuously. For once in your life, you could admit that it doesn't take a tongue callous from prayer to handle the warp's dangers. Steps have been made to navigators. Yeah. Navis Nobilite are different from most humans, but their differences are differences are a blessing. They are noble servants of the Imperium who help humanity expand its galactic domain. Do you not see that in the higher purpose pleases the Emperor? What do you think, Cassius? Or Cassia? Whoops. It's a pleasure to hear the unlike ignorant rabble you give the acknowledgement to the greatness of our deeds, Confessor. As the Emperor's note, and the Messiah, they have their own form of worship. Do they truly share our beliefs? Are we just like pointing out things that are wrong with each one of our crew members and as evidence? Because what's Pascal going to say here? Well, certainly different likeness of the Emperor and ways of worshipping him can be found across the Imperium worlds. But we all believe in the one. Pascal? Figured as such. For the purpose of optimizing the present exchange, I suggest regarding the statement as true. For a competent answer to the question, I recommend addressing this unit as a member of the Adeptus Mechanicus clergy. I think my warrant entities me to violate the Imperial Creed in many ways. That can't be, violate. Yeah, okay. Violate. Those are not to be conceived as a violation. Some rogue trader's privileges come with a duty. The duty to expand to the bounds of human influence. If the rogue trader must take responsibility for unorthodox solutions or actions in the course of performing that duty, then so be it. There are more holes in the Imperial religion than parasites on the... No, we should stop poking holes at them. You were positively beaming with joy. A priest like you is a rare sight. Did Lady Theodora come here often? Yeah. Laughs good-naturedly. A fair observation. Everyone knows that the clergy must maintain a stern appearance to inspire fear and awe in their flock. Smart fades, giving way to his pensive gravitas. The truth is that my clan and I experienced great hardship. I cannot explain how it is I am standing before you now, except by his will. How could one be anything but joyful, knowing that they are saved by the Emperor? What happened? I was scarcely more than a child when the malady struck. Eyes watering. When this tragedy struck our cabins, first would come the fever, and then unlucky victim would start retching blood. After that, they would melt away like a candle. Only the youngest survived, myself included, myself among them. He smiles feebly, but now my family is growing, and I am grateful for each new life that replaces one lost. So is it like a figurative family, or like literal? Still in your gentle manner may adversely affect the flock's faith. Still in your gentle manner may adversely affect your flock's faith. Is that saying it in a good way? Yeah, okay. An accurate observation from a lady who knows the importance of strong faith on her ship. Except the fact that I was just questioning it. The gentleness you speak of is skin deep. On the inside, my faith and spirit are pure adamantine. Decades instructing the crew and fighting the dangers of the void and the warp have required nothing less. My resolve in the face of the monstrous threats we face must always be 100-fold firmer than that of my flock. The topics, Lady Theodora, come here. Her predecessor always had due concerns for the reliquary's maintenance and its needs, and under her rule, faith occupied its proper place on the ship. Give you a diplomatic smile. Usually not. I am interested in other thoughts of some of my subjects. Ours is a throne, a learning flock that regularly leaves the Vox recordings in the Shrine Confessional, housed in the eastern part of the reliquary. This allows us to maintain constant watch for the heretical tendencies, and observe the earnesty with which our parishioners render their duties, as well as dangerous dissent brewing in their minds. Initiate Collegus is responsible for sorting the confessions. It would be honored to offer you access to confessional cogitator.
They will see. Oh, yes, they all will see.
You can see the back of our statue. It's pretty big. Offer a prayer. Why not? The one you remember best. This is where I would just speak about like a joke prayer, but I really don't know any. Confessor crew. Confessor. Officer. Check priest. Servitor. Clovis. Like initiate leaning over the cogitator, an expression of extreme mental effort on his face. His fish-like round eyes appearing in the screen. Grant me understanding, Master. Grant me wisdom. Which is his approach? So how can I be of service? It appears you're having difficulty. Nothing escapes your ladyship's notice. As it so happens, I am struggling to categorize 3 rather peculiar confessions. I wouldn't have dared tell you about them, but I think they may have been left by the senior officers. I should make this a matter of highest order, and is far beyond the meager understanding. These confessions, you see, are far from being examples of pious conformity. I dread the very thought of the descent of heresy poisoning the minds of some of the most eminent members of the crew. But I cannot change what I heard. As I had reverence, I cannot share this with anyone but the Emperor's anointed, nor can I allow anyone but your ladyship to listen to these messages protected by the secrecy of confession. What made these confessions with senior officers? Yeah, because they're, say, senior officer stuff. These parishioners are well-spoken, meaning that they are used to addressing an audience. Perhaps they issued orders and are vested with power. And, well, after categorizing so many confessions, I have learned to notice the subtle differences between them. Alright, sure, let's hear them. Said imperious doubt. Theft of ship property, coded message. I can't remember any of my officers, because I haven't really talked to them outside of the meeting. So if they're like, who is this one? I'd be like, I don't know. Ah, damn it. I thought they're actually going to be foist. One question has troubled me over the years. Why are some destined to perish in the warp, while others must go on living and preserve the memory of the dead? Worthier and more luminous souls have been lost, and yet I am still here. Starting the recording, but you are confident that the speaker is male. I think I can only remember one female officer. Orphans have troubled me for years. Oh, no, sorry. The orphans on the ship have already been provided with the bare essentials, but every so often I consider increasing their rations and ordering more sets of clothes for them. That will not replace the families they lost, but it will improve their lives somewhat, especially given the ship has enough resources to cover the comparatively trivial expenses. Despite the poor sound quality, you determine the voice to be male. Well, male. Lop-eared Klappas display a high degree of socialization, but among their kind and toward their owners. These animals but just well to a Voidship's lower gravity, since it's similar to a homeworld's conditions. Lop-eared Klappa meat is edible should necessity demand it. Sounds muffled as though from behind a thick layer of glass, but is unmistakably a woman's. I'll seek them out. Senior male Okay, so I gotta find who made them. Great. Masters are truly special, your ladyship, giving them personal attention. Never would I have imagined that the rogue trader herself was coming to my aid. And dialogue.
Patience. Oh, my nerves are frayed.
Okay, so that's basically it here. Fairline. What's that? Astropathic Chapel. Okay. Okay.
How fascinating. To me, the Immaterium is made of colors, but to the astropaths who dwell in this chapel, it is music.
Cursed music. Why do the Astropaths not fill this place with litanies in his name instead?
Okay, so that's... yeah. Some of the furniture where the conducted charge and supply can be turned into an instrument of execution at any moment. Right on.
Curiosity sings in my veins.
So we can just throw people in furnaces. Chapel servants. Bridge technomat. Here, Pascal.
Successful.
Okay, for that one. Chapel servant. Just trying to get to random things. Oh. Gimme. Don't know what it is, but we're just taking it. Servant. Chapel servant. Oh. Beacon cannot be saved from the 13th storm. The lapsed father's beloved son will open his yawning maw. Okay, who's talking? Living here is inevitable. After the boundless sunset... oh, there's someone over there. Comes the horrific sunrise. Brought forth into the wailing world of the womb of... okay. So what was executed? Right on.
In this tapestry of a world, I am the rogue thread.
Okay, kind of thought it was the... oh! Someone else here. Okay, there's someone here. Let's just continue wandering around. Servant. Little floaty staff thingy. Sigma. Okay, so we got that. And we got Secretary Weiss.
One step at a time.
And suck the Sigma.
The madness.
Or we'll talk to the Astropath, whatever. Protects us from the machine spirit's unrest, for without his gifts our sacrifices are fruitless. You can barely hear the voice of the young Astropath standing right next to the bulky mechanism, his face frozen on the mask of despair. His anemic hands are pressed to his chest, clutching crumpled strips of thick paper. He hears you approach and composes himself. Seer, his head lowered, does not so much glance in your direction. With his hands folded underneath his robe, he makes a barely audible, unpleasant sound, a prayer in technical lingua. What's going on here? Secret compiler is ailing. The leadership of Gloom has been over the machine spirits, and they are disturbing the mechanism of its operation. The 12th row of the drum is now adding incorrect symbols. The man shows you a stack of papers, and you notice that once the row is squiggles in each in the same cliff. Some of the servants in the Ahmed Scion, but the machine spirits are none too eager to hear their prayers. Steam Engineer is in a state of tech prayer trance and hasn't moved from the spot for a day now. He shakes his hand into his shoulders timidly. I have the audacity to ask the sacred compiler could be better helped by examining its parts, but who am I to question the secret knowledge of the Adeptus Mechanicus? Marcel, what are you doing all the way over there? Tom Sigma AR 67 or 87? 87. Is currently in a text trance of shared comprehension and the spirit of the Archaeotech device, cataloged under the name of the Steam Spindle. Disturbing the unit is not recommended, so it falls on for a few seconds. However, preliminary diagnostic has revealed several algorithmic faults that are in conflict with the sacred mechanism's processes. Practical intervention into certain cycles will likely aid the release of the accumulated burden. Such a trifle of an error. How did you let this happen? Let's see if there's any I can help. Yeah. Okay.
What lies beyond?
So the conversation just sort of ended. And now we can't talk to either of them. Guess I'll talk to this Aubrey. Over here, myself.
This explorator is blessed with multifunctionality.
So this is just wandering around and fixing stuff, or
Operation successful.
yeah, there's two of them fixed at least.
They will see. Oh, yes, they all will see.
Nothing down here. I just a bridge technomat. I don't care about you. I know it's goods, but I think those are like his building supplies. And I feel it would be quite the dick if I just
My success
took the
is
stuff.
irrefutable certainty. The material grants me insight.
There will be no peace in my wake.
This explorator is blessed with multifunctionality.
Fixed. So how many more are there? Journal. Oh, that's it. Okay. It just doesn't say go talk to them now. Oh. I still don't want to talk. Okay, well, we'll talk to the organist. Ooh, he's got a picture. Doesn't have a voice, though. That's a bit annoying. Oh, it's the Geordie guy. Right, okay. Choir Master Zachary Weiss is a tall old man in a long green robe, stands motionless in front of a cogitator. The closer you approach, the clearer you can hear his continuous, unintelligible whisper. You are about to call his name when he follows silence sharply and turns around towards you first. Lord Captain! Okay, come on, Jordy. Keep up with me. Visit from the Rogue Trader is an honor to us. Like other Astropaths in the chapel, the choir master's eyes are bandaged over with time-worn scrolls of sacred manuscripts. Nevertheless, you cannot shake the feeling that his otherworldly glowing gaze is studying you keenly. How can I be of use to your ladyship? Well, unfortunately, I can't say anything. But I did do a lore emporium. That's nice. Sanctioning is a brutal procedure, one of which robs every astropath of the gift of sight. In turn, they gain a new kind of vision that allows them to see what ordinary people cannot. Gain 7 experience points. Nice. The light emanating from beneath the bandages flicker with strange hues of choir master clutches his temple. His expression shifts to a way you are familiar with. It is look of one who has glimpsed the grim signs that evil has left upon your soul. My nightmare scold you. Remind me, who are you? Have you made a confession lately? The Astropathic Choir, Voidship Chapel. Scold you. Apologies, your ladyship. I sensed the strangeness in you, and my mind reached out of its own accord. I did not see much, but what I did see was enough. It grieves me to know that this mark weighs on you. So, trust me, I am well acquainted with the oppressive burden of doom. We already know who he is, so we're good there. Make a confession. Tell me about the Astropath. Let's start with here. Of course, Lady Captain, is there something specific? What is this place? To us Astropaths, this place is our sacred cradle, and our grave, Lord Captain. You are at the conflux of every secret missive, every order of prime importance, every scheme being plotted behind the scenes. We're in a place where each of your loyal Astropaths is ready to lay down their life for the crumbs of information, if that is with your wish. We receive and send messages for hours turning into days. We wander the dark depths of the Materium. Okay, right. Carrying out voice through the warps of eternal night, bringing in our comrades in some remote refuge, accepting the voice, signals, and missives of other people or others into our own abode. Those are most often meant for you, your ladyship, and at times they are meant for no one. Isn't that an organ? Oh, that thing. It is a sacred compiler that helps us record, store, and in an extent, unriddle messages, period. The Astropaths first received these messages in the form of muddled images, dictating what they see to the machine, which logs their every word from the reels of the receivers of the calling the machine to the ceiling. The machine recorded words are routed through the lines of the floors into the transcribers, and then the Thesaurus core is the most important part of the mechanism, as it contains a vast catalog of various symbols and the methods of their interpretation. Ooh, it's a big thing. Compiler matches the images in the message against the data and forwards the results to the central cogitator and myself so that I can begin the ritual of decoding. I know of no other choir that possesses so wise a mechanism, and I praise the God Emperor for its existence. However, while the compiler hastens the extraction of the intelligible meaning from perplexing imagery. Astropath must still open their mind to the interpretation, which is no less perilous than the rights of receiving or sending an astropathic message. The meaning of the symbols, why can't they decode the messages itself? Yeah, come on. Regrettably for us all, your ladyship, the astropathic messages are not ciphered dispatches, but rather psychic imprints containing information. Only an astropath can read the entirety of someone or something created through the medium of the warp. Furthermore, as messages pass through the immaterium, they might become distorted by malevolent intent. It falls to your servants alone to shield their mind with faith and separate the true meaning of the influence of the ruinous powers. Information from me you could. Face twists into a bizarre grimace. My duty is to shield you from the monstrous communications that filter through the warp. It screams to the Emperor's loyal servants, centuries dead by now. Nightmares, maddening images of the Sea of Souls, the cursed symbols that cause astropaths to convulse in violent fits of frenzy, the messages from abominations in search of weak minds to devour, concealing all that is your duty. Okay, now that's when we become an astropath. We were all part of the Imperial tithe once. Psychers delivered to Terra on the black ships, but only a few of the candidates had what it took to study astropathy. Astropathy? Yeah, I just said that. Few still successfully completed the grueling training to be eligible for soul binding, and almost none survived the initiation. Dreadful Imperial void ships that transport psychers given up by the numerous worlds as part of their own tie to the Imperial. He throws his hands back. We were given the privilege to behold the Emperor's light. A flawless and soaring, a pious smile visits his lips. That changes you. It wounds you irreparably. It takes your eyesight, but in exchange you commune with the greatness of his presence. For his presence is the soul that fortifies them as we stand against the malicious powers. After the ritual, an astropath is assigned to that position. At this part of the Adeptus, an astropathic relay or a ship, more often than not, our first place of service is also our last. What happens to your choir? Where can I find new astropaths? Especially his wrinkled face grows even more serious. It would be more on point to say when something happens. The Emperor's blessing protects us from the warp's various influences. However, there are horrors dwelling in the void for which even the defense would be no obstacle, especially if one depends on so much time in their company as we do. There's only one way to procure astropaths, and that is through the Adeptus Administratum. Luck permitting, and attached astropaths from the sector will be posted to the ship. Ones who, for whatever reason, have lost their place in service. Failing that, the request will go to Terra, and we will have to wait a long time. Fun. That said, there are other options. Blasphemous, forbidden options. The Choir Master Grimaces, unsanctioned psychers, unprotected, and broken souls who seldom live past their first few seances. But even those who do, should the God Emperor put the souls through severe trials, and judging by the rapid warp has been late, the number of dead astropaths, those trials will be upon sooner prayers could reach Terra. And then Nadira spoke. I know a couple of places where you can get new astropaths. Jared grins maliciously. Yes, of course, if you want to insist on them being all classy and proper like this Friday bunch. Maybe. The chapel doesn't bother you. Carefully, Lord Captain. On the contrary, Lord Captain, it is his mental focusing technique used by our flagship's choir. One that I invented myself. This music was written by the Astropath. What my charges when I hear is not only ordinary, or what ordinary people hear, its true depth and beauty cannot be fathomed without the Emperor's blessing. The music protects our minds from rudimentary thoughts, purifies and sharpens them, but above all else, it serves as a beacon of sorts amid the tumultuous sea of souls, a thread to lead us home for the deadly maze. Okay. I witnessed the death of one of your astropaths. What happened? Did we? I can't remember. Kind of feels bad that I can't remember. See if this will spark up something. The choir master sighs and makes his sign of Aquila. May the God Emperor rest his soul and protect him from the ruinous powers and tenacious claws. That was the 5th one this month. One younger voices cannot handle the warp storms raging in the expanse and end up losing their minds. He adds barely audibly, if they are lucky. Fair enough. Something is afoot on the other side of the maw, Lord Captain. Something infinitely sinister. Something disastrous. The scraps of mental images that reach us from the Imperium carry the mark of doom. The images emanating from there are like a beast bearing its teeth. Woo! Our warp test succeeded. You have heard accounts of disturbances of the warp affecting psychers, especially astropaths who delve deeply into the Imperium. But there have been more and more alarming stories of late. Something of raging warp, something that poses a particular threat to those psychic powers. There's a conquest follower. So sent to your choir, I shall have good food, free calf, and relaxing bombs delivered. Appreciate your concern. Perhaps those small indulgences will give them strength and save someone's life. You made a confession lately? Beg your ladyship's pardon? These should have already been provided with the parish essentials, have they not? Fire some distance to parish the warp while the others go on the living. Never mind, we don't really have any evidence. Speaking of where I business, the choir master follows you with his upwardly glowing gaze as you leave and turn back to the cogitator. Okay, so the whole thing about the prayers, it's going to be
In this tapestry of the world, I am the
not going to be able to just
thread.
say, hey, have you been praying? And they'd be like, oh, you caught me. So, yeah. What was that? Servo skull. You. Okay, talk to you, okay.
In the shadows of the Imperium's ignorance, my genius blossoms. Oh, how they fear the brilliance
Oh, that was it?
eludes their narrow vision.
Oh, okay. That was completed. Then we're going to get something. We didn't get anything. Well, screw this place too. Okay, that's my quarters, bright line, Voidship Shrine, Voidship Bridge. Pretty sure this is just going to take me alone to my quarters. Which is fine, because I kind of want to be there anyway. Actually, no. I want to go to the bridge. I say as I get off my cabin. Yes, Looty Rudy Tooty to you too. Okay, where were we going? We were going somewhere. We're on our way here, and then we were interrupted repeatedly. Okay, that'll be fine. As we investigated the ship, that was a lot of reading. I think that'll do. I'm still picking up on my sleep. So this will have been... God damn it, why isn't my portrait up there yet? The old battle axe. Alright, let's see here. Alright, so I think next week we'll make our next planet fall. Let me just save over idiots. And then quick save. Yeah, next week we'll make our next planet fall and do a fair number of missions there. Because a fair number of missions is taking us there anyway. We're not going to do the DLC web mission yet. We already got Cabela, so you know. We'll do it. We'll do it eventually down the road, obviously. But yeah, we're going to head off to Rockhead Minoris and take care of stuff there. Now that we know about our ship and about prayers and about an orb and things like that. Yeah, we're pretty good. We're pretty good. We're pretty good. I hope we're doing good. Maybe we'll see. In the meantime, that's going to be about it for this week. Actually, outside of my video tomorrow, which is a discussion video, it's not super duper long, but it does pose a hopefully interesting question, and maybe makes people think. But if not, then you know. That I have failed. But yeah. Hopefully you guys are willing enough to check that out. And then, of course, What's Up Wrestling on Friday, the final episode before WrestleMania. Important episode for other reasons, but, you know, find that out later. Yeah. But other than that, that is really about it. As always, thank you all for tuning in. And I will see you all next time. Bye, everybody.